In this week's installment of Real American
Oh, you got me, brother.
Hulk Hogan and Eric Bischoff appeared on Ariel Helwani's show to discuss their new Real American Freestyle Wrestling League. Hogan was on there looking like Kramer on that episode of Seinfeld where he was up all night smoking cigars and his face looked like an old catcher's mitt. Bischoff was asked about where the promotion's debut event on August 30th will air. He said, "As soon as we're done with this, I have a call with a major platform that everybody would know about and recognize. We may end up there, we may not. We are going to end up on a platform on August 30th. We're in discussions. I don't even want to call negotiations. I'll be really straightforward with you on this. We're in discussions with two different platforms. Like I said, one over the next 45 minutes. I'm confident that we're going to land a streaming opportunity, and it may be a cable broadcast, but time will tell. I'm not concerned that we won't have a platform. I'm only concerned with which one it will be and how it will work for us." I'm sure the streamers are just beating their door down for this. And I am sure they will land a deal of some kind, but how much that deal will pay them, that's a different story. Hogan was also asked about the negative reaction he received at the Raw on Netflix premiere earlier this year, a story that will not die. And the answer he gave was the same one that he gave Pat McAfee on his show a few months ago. He said, "The last time I was in LA, dude, I was Hollywood with the black beard and doing the bad guy thing, Jack." He's still going with the idea that he was only booed because the last time he was in LA, he was a heel in the NWO, which is so mind-numbingly stupid. It's impossible for me to comprehend that he thought that it was a good idea to say it out loud when he first thought of it. As if he hasn't been to LA since then and gotten positive reactions, at WrestleMania no less. But he said, "I can go out there and get booed in LA, or The Rock can get booed in LA, or John Cena gets booed in LA, but when I get booed, there's a whole different reaction media-wise. For some reason, I've laid some type of groundwork that people are still interested in what I'm doing." You know, to my knowledge, John Cena and The Rock were not caught on tape saying that they were racist to a point. I'm going to say that probably has something to do with it. So for those that are on the team and are riding with the train to the station, that's great. For those that are the haters and still have a problem with me, there's nothing I can do to fix that except just keep proving by my actions that I'm still in the game. I'm still pushing hard. When you get booed and then you get 3.2 billion engagements and you rock that whole world in LA with how much interaction there was on the internet, I'll take it. That really says it all right there, doesn't it? To him, it's just all about the engagement and the social media views and the publicity that he generated from it. He doesn't get it. He just doesn't get it. And he never will. Or he does, and he's being intentionally misleading with these comments. But he was also asked if he felt that it was people booing his character rather than him personally. He said, "All of the above. There were certain people who boo the character. There were certain WWE superstars who had an opinion and had advice for me. But I would like to ask the same guys when I go to New York or Chicago and the people cheer out of the rooftops. I would like to know what their advice is then and what their opinion is." So it's a double-edged sword, and it's always been like that. It's part of the character. It's part of me personally. It's part of my professional life. It's part of my personal life. It's all of the above. And at the end of the day, I'm just like an old scarred-up seal with a bunch of scars on me, and I'm really relatable to most normal people because a lot of people have been through a lot of the stuff that I have. Yes. Who among us has not been caught saying horrible racist shit on a sex tape made in bed with their friend's wife? I'm sure we can all relate. In other news, Hogan is trying to get his hands on Hooters. Now that is something I can relate to. Business Insider is reporting that Hogan's beer company, Real American Beer, is planning on submitting a bid for the Hooters restaurant chain's intellectual property. If successful, it would enable the brand to create merchandise, food, and beverage products featuring the Hooters IP at restaurants, retail locations, and entertainment venues across the United States. According to the report, Real American Beer may potentially license the Hooters name back to the restaurant, as the company is not interested in acquiring Hooters locations. This comes after Hooters of America Hooters of America filed for Chapter 11 bankruptcy back in March, owing $370 million in debt. Hooters of America is a fantastic name, by the way. It sounds like a presidential platform that somebody will run on one day, and they'll probably win. The report notes that when Real American Beer began distribution last year, Hooters was one of the first to carry the beer. The person familiar with the plan declined to say how much the bid would be worth, but said that it would be an all-cash offer. And a certain WWE Hall of Famer will soon be eligible to be inducted into the National Baseball Hall of Fame after a historic decision this week by Major League Baseball Commissioner Rob Manfred on Tuesday that removed Pete Rose, Shoeless Joe Jackson, and other deceased players from Major League Baseball's permanently ineligible list. Rose and Jackson, both longtime baseball pariahs stained by gambling, which is seen by MLB as the game's mortal sin, are now eligible for election into the Baseball Hall of Fame in Cooperstown. That's Cooperstown, New York. Manfred ruled that MLB's punishment of banned individuals ends upon their deaths. Obviously, a person no longer with us cannot represent a threat to the integrity of the game, Manfred wrote in a letter to attorney Jeffrey M. Lenkov, who petitioned for Rose's removal from the list on January 8th. Moreover, it is hard to conceive of a penalty that has more deterrent effect than one that lasts a lifetime with no reprieve. Therefore, I have concluded that permanent ineligibility ends upon the passing of the disciplined individual, and Mr. Rose will be removed from the permanently ineligible list. Based on current rules for players who last played more than 15 years ago, it appears the earliest that Rose and Jackson could be inducted is the summer of 2028, if they are elected, and that is still a big if. Rose was the first celebrity inductee into the WWE Hall of Fame. He made 3 straight WrestleMania appearances starting in 1998. He's also baseball's all-time hit king. He's a 3-time World Series champion. He was banned from the game after betting on games, including Cincinnati Reds games, while he was managing the team. But he agreed to a permanent ban from baseball as part of his punishment. And he applied for reinstatement multiple times over the years with different commissioners, and every single time his request was denied. And he was also deemed ineligible for induction into the Hall of Fame. Now, he sued the special counsel that was brought in by MLB to investigate his gambling allegations in the 80s. He sued him several years ago after that lawyer did an interview claiming that Rose had committed statutory rape. And that lawsuit got tossed out after they found there was actually a sworn statement that alleged Rose was having sex with a minor back in the 70s, which he later admitted to. The girl was only 14 or 15 years old, and he would have been in his 30s. She claimed they had sex in and out of the state of Ohio. Rose admitted to having sex with her, but claimed she was 16 at the time, which just so happens to be the age of consent in Ohio, or it was anyway, and claimed that they never had sex outside the state. So when we talk about Pete Rose, there's a lot of baggage there, okay? Not just the gambling stuff. What he agreed to was a permanent ban, not a lifetime ban, but Manfred has decided that when the person dies, so too does the ban. There is the issue that the Hall of Fame did not adopt the rule barring players on the permanently ineligible list from being inducted until a few years after Rose got banned. It was clearly done to keep him out. That's why the rule was adopted. Had Pete Rose known that agreeing to a ban would also block him from being inducted into the Hall of Fame, it is entirely possible that he would never have agreed to that deal in the first place. I think if he would have been honest a lot sooner about what he had done and seemed genuinely remorseful about the gambling stuff, people may have had more sympathy for him, and maybe things would have been different. But it really wasn't until he had books to sell many years later that he finally copped to betting on baseball, and he admitted to it. Should he be in the Hall of Fame? I say yes, if only because it just feels wrong that they adopted that rule after he agreed to the ban and then made it retroactive. Obviously, his stats speak for themselves. He's one of the best players of all time, but it's still a very divisive topic for a lot of people, fans and players.